Good evening and welcome to the studio this evening. My apologies for being late tonight. If anybody's watching, anybody's stayed around. Been out and about today, got back in late and tea took longer to make than I expected. But I've now had some, which I'm glad to say. So let's have some light. Get rid of the heterodyne. There we go. And I now want to finish this particular bracelet here. That's if Felix will let me, because Felix is laid just to the right of me. Unfortunately though, he's laid with his back towards me, so no point in me trying to show you him because you'll just see the back end of a pussycat. Not quite sure how much of interest the back end of a pussycat is, but that's what you can see at the moment. So I need to add about another inch to this. Actually about another inch. We'll make it a 7-inch bracelet, so I need some rings out. Both the silver and the yellow, and then so I've got a whole big 3 there that are already opened. I realised after the stream last night just why, because I was kind of puzzled as to why I got the right number of rings out, and I was kind of puzzled as to why it didn't equal the length I was expecting it to. It wasn't till after the stream that I realised the right number of rings was for 1/4 inch rings rather than for the 3/16 that I've got here, and that very slight difference makes a difference. And that's why I did have the right number of rings. So close that. We need to open and close rings. Yellow ones are closed, silver ones are open. So I will just quickly do some of these rings. Okay. Alright, I will first of all untangle some of these rings. Way. There's absolutely no point in me trying to untangle these before I put them in the case, which is one thing I did sort of think about doing once, but just the vibration in the case does tend to make them linked together again. So just picking the case up and moving it around causes them to interlink. So complete waste of time basically to try and undo them. What would be less of a waste of time would be to open all the rings, which would also stop them linking together. Well, it doesn't stop them linking together, but what it does mean is that they unlink very easily. You just give them a slight shake and they come apart. But given that half the time, or some of the time anyway, you need closed rings, like these yellow ones need to be closed, it almost feels a little bit like, hey, I'm doing the work twice. Opening them just to close them again. Now, I'm going to say there isn't a lot of difference. They are partially open already, but it's kind of like, well, I've just done all that work to actually physically open them, and I needn't have bothered. Because closing them from an open position or closing them from their current sort of manufactured position, not a lot of difference. Right, so as I say, just closing these up. I wonder if I can just position this camera a little bit better. A little bit more straight on perhaps. Then you might get a better view of what it is I'm doing. I tend to work a little bit that way, so let's try putting the camera right in front of me there and try not to throw rings around the place. Yeah, I do tend to work this way, so hopefully that might work a little bit better. I can't really put the camera any further over at the moment just because there's a microphone in the way, and it's not fantastically comfortable to have the camera directly in front of me pointing away, so which is the other possibility that I could try at some point. I just have a camera boom in my face if I do that. So now then, I don't know how many of these I'm going to need. I'll just do these few I've done here, and then we'll weave these into the bracelet and see how long it is. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. Could be enough. So let's do another 8 of these silver ones. 1, 2, 3. Felix, you've just knocked something else on the floor. 4. 5. I said 8, but I've already got some done, so let's just do these 8. Once this bracelet's done, what I then have is I've got a commissioned bracelet to do. So I've got somebody's bought one, so I need to do a, which is the right end for this? That's it. I need to do a candy cane in 3 colours. Just come back here, you. Just like I've got actually on Etsy, an identical one to that. Now must remember to get hold of these pliers in the right way to start with. Right, let's put a ring on there before I forget to do so. That's it. So once you get the hang of this, which is half Persian, 4 in 1, it is an easy, I say it is an easy weave. It is an easy weave. I mean, strictly speaking, all the chainmail weaves are easy once you know how to do them. So I suppose that's the what's causing me a problem with this. Okay, something's causing me a problem. Let's take that ring out. Come back here, ring. You do from time to time try and escape. It goes through those 2 and no, it's not like that. I've literally just put one of these in and now I can't get another one in for some reason, and I just cannot work out. What have I done wrong on this? Nothing at all. So that one, that one, and then that one, like that. Okay, just for some reason that was just not wanting to lie in the right place. But there we go. Death Beetle 1. What game is this? Okay, it's a very interesting game. It's one that's great fun to play. It's called Winding Up Idiots. Hello, Felix. Come on. You can settle down. No, you can't go on the desk. You can sit on my knee. And for those of you that's watching, this is Felix. Felix is a cat that never wants to sit on knees. Only has done for the past 3 or 4 days. So you can just settle down. I think he's unsettled about something. You can settle down. He wants stroking. Highly unusual for this cat. He never wanted stroking. He never wants to sit on knees, and now, no, you can't go on the desk. I'm going to sit down. No, of course, if I try and persuade you to sit down, you'll just want to stand up. Okay, something is wrong with this weave, so I'm just about to take it apart. Yes, you want stroking. Okay, there you go. No, not on the desk. You can go that way if you like, or just settle down. Okay, go that way. There you go then. Right, I am trying for some reason this... I know exactly what I'm doing with this weave, and yet for some reason I cannot get it right. What have I done wrong? I mean, it's kind of pointless, I guess, unless you guys are experts in chainmail. You won't necessarily know what I've done wrong. Neither would I, for that matter. So it is kind of a rhetorical question. So it should be like that. And then there should be a ring on there. And we close that up. That's weird. I've just done exactly what I did before. Put the ring through exactly the same place as I did before. And this time it's worked. I don't know. Gold Dragon, good evening. Welcome to the studio this evening. I hope you've had a good weekend. Of course, it's the Christmas holidays now, so no, well, I was about to say no work and no school. That's probably not true for you over the Christmas period, is it? But less work. Excuse me. That's good. What show is it that's being put on? I was about to make a guess of a pantomime, I guess, for the time of year, but that may not be true, of course. Right, so nope, that's in. There we go. Okay, let's see how long this is. Oh, it's bad if you don't even know what show you're lighting. Yeah, about another ½ inch to go. I'm going to have to see if I can find time tomorrow at some point to get the 3D pen out and try. I've had it about 3 weeks now and I've not even opened the box it came in. I'm not sure I'll have time tomorrow though, unfortunately. Because although I'm on holiday, I've got some stuff to do tomorrow, which will probably keep me busy for most of the day. Some of you watching may know all about what I'm doing here. This is called chainmail, and if you saw chainmail and came expecting to see armour being made, then you are mistaken, of course. But also chainmail is, well, I was about to say it's got nothing to do with armour. That's not true, of course. But chainmail isn't armour. Armour is made from chainmail. Chainmail is the skill, craft of weaving together rings, and therefore when it got used for armour purposes, you know, that's largely speaking how everybody sort of got to know about it. That needs to be a little bit longer. About another two rings, I think. But this is another use for chainmail, making jewellery. This is made with aluminium rings, so they are nickel free and cadmium free and free of everything else but aluminium. So they, if you have allergies to metal, to some metals like nickel, then this should be a good choice. Oh, I see. Last minute change. Well, that's not bad if you can pick up and light a show like that, or run the lighting without any prep. Okay. As I said, mentioned a bit earlier, I usually do this bracelet with 1/4 inch rings, which is slightly larger. Doesn't sound much, doesn't 1/16th of an inch, because these are 5/16ths. 5/16ths? 3/16ths? 3/16ths! I can't add up. Doesn't sound much, doesn't that difference, but actually it's they look quite a larger ring, and it certainly grows a lot faster and takes less rings. But I do quite like the look of these smaller rings in bracelets. They always look more delicate, or well, to my mind they look nicer. I sneeze. Excuse me. So I always enjoy working in the small rings. Unfortunately though, it just takes almost sometimes twice as long to do something with the small rings than it does the large ones. And I think that's that. And that. Well, a good reputation is worth a lot in any job. Now then, is that long enough? Let's have a look. Yep, it is. And in actual fact, I don't actually want that last ring on there, or I do want it on there, but I want it through both end rings. That will hold it in place. So that's and this one on this end I will grab, and actually I'll take this one off because it's slightly long. And these rings are, are relatively thin, so what it will allow me to do, if I can find my clasps. Oh yes, I have one clasp left. That means I will have to borrow one off something else to complete the commission. So these two rings, what I'll do is open both of them and feed the clasp onto them. That will hold the clasp in place a lot better, because they'll have two rings. Some clasps you can't physically actually get. Actually, I'm just about to do something. Yeah, okay. I've just done something that I may have to fix on the other end. And when you're doing jewellery like this, you have to take into account the way the bracelet lies, or the necklace. Now then, that's going to go through. Okay, I have just made a mess of that. That wants to go like that. and that probably wants to go through there like that, and it does. That's it. Now then, clasps want to lie flat on the desk, so if you lie them on the desk like that, if I can get this to show on the camera, they want to lie flat along with the chain. So what I've got to do is make sure, and this one's done it, that on the other end. Poison Paul, thank you very much for following. And sorry I wasn't watching chat, but thank you very much. What I'm going to do is make sure that this ring that's on the end here will sit vertically like this, at right angles to the chain, because when this gets laid on a wrist, the way in which the clasp sits, which is flat like that, will then go around and clip. If I can get this thing to actually, tell you what, the easiest way is I'll just do it by hand like that. No, I've got to twist in it. Untwist it. There we go. Should be that way around, I think. Yeah. So the clasp sort of sits vertically, but the bracelet lies on its flat side, like that. And it's a little bit awkward just because of the way these rings are. And in fact, that yellow ring's out of place. Okay, that's what's throwing it off a little bit. I thought the ring wasn't quite sitting properly. So let me just adjust this. This ring slipped out of place a little bit when I was... Now that would go through there like that to sit normally, which means that it wants to go through. Come back here, you. Through there like that, I think. Have a look. Is that right? Is that going to sit properly? That is not sitting properly. That ring. When you get chainmail and it doesn't sit properly, it's telling you that there's a ring out of place, and this one is. I thought I just fixed it, but I hadn't. And I may actually end up having to take this out. And put a single ring on the end, or a slightly different pattern. Come on out. Now then, are you right now? Yes, well that's the thing, Poison Paul. It's the detail. It's that last little detail that can make a difference. between it looking okay and it looking right. And I would prefer to basically I prefer to get it right. There we go. That is close enough for that. It won't actually sit perfectly because it's going through that one single ring, and the way that twists makes that a little bit awkward. But essentially that's now in the right place. And what we've got is, if I just hold a because it does the same thing on the other side, it just spreads out a little bit. But if I hold that as it would be on a wrist, now you can see that the clasp tends to lie flat. It won't lie perfectly flat just because of the way the rings are, but it's almost perfectly flat, and that way it'll sit naturally. If you ever try and get a clasp that wants to sit vertically on your wrist, it always tends to fall over. When it falls over, it tends to drag the rest of the bracelet with it, putting a twist on it, which sometimes makes it look odd. But there we go. That is a yellow and silver coloured aluminium anodised bracelet. Complete. So that's that one done. Now then, what I've got to do now is put those rings away, because I'm using some different rings now. He says, yep. I'm going to make I'm going to chain that I've sold. So I need to make it. It's not using these colours, so I'll just put these back into my box. I'm making a chain called Candy Cane, which was named after literally the candy cane sweets. I gather that the person who designed or came up with the weave decided that it actually looked like the spiral of the candy cane, and so that's where the name came from. Yeah, then. Should be in this bag. Yes, it is. What I'm going to be doing is making one of these, which is called Candy Cane, and in just these colours, which is pink, yellow, and sky blue. So having just put those yellow away, I'll get them out again. I could have saved time and left them. Now then, yeah, I'll have a look and see how many I need to do this with. Now then, let's have a look at my recipes for this. And candy cane. It's 134 rings, which will be spread over 3 different colours. $60 pink, 54. Oh, they're gold. Yeah, they are gold. I was right putting the yellow away. Oh dear. It's alright, I'm doing the job 3 times. So welcome to the putting rings in and out of a box simulator. they wanted exactly the same colours, so we'll get exactly the same colours. So I wanted what? 54. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's easier to count them now than I can just carry on and weave. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Now I did say 54, but this one wants to be about half an inch shorter. So we'll go with 50. And sky blue we want 56. So we'll do about 50, 52 sky blue. That's these here. If I count them out now and get them right, what I can just do is just weave, rather than having to stop. Once I get closer to the size, I'd have to basically keep stopping and keep checking the length that I wanted, and it gets a little bit frustrating for me, never mind you guys, if I keep doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I tell you what, we'll do 50 of that as well. And the pink wants about 56. Pink. Here we go, pink. Oh, everybody's got a talent, the poison pull, and this is as easy as some, harder than others. Hopefully I'll be on again tomorrow night about 8 PM UK time, 2000 hours GMT. Not quite sure what I'll be doing. I may be doing some more jewellery, I may be playing with a 3D pen, I may be doing some pyrography, or even carving or something else, but drop in and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, Doll Dragon, you too have a good night as well. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. I want 1. 56. Let's see how that goes. Now I shall just put these to one side before the pussycat decides he's going to stand on the box, which is just as likely as to what he's going to do. Now then, what I need to do is open all of these, which actually shouldn't take too long to do, but because when you're doing it with the ring opener, it's a lot faster than trying to use two sets of pliers to do it. And in actual fact, what I'm going to do is switch pliers as well to my red pair of pliers, which are around here somewhere. There they are. These have got wider jaws, and having wider jaws means I don't have to be as careful about getting hold of the rings properly. Because if with the smaller jawed pliers, the chain nose pliers as they're known, you can end up twisting the ring out of shape if you don't quite get hold of it right. Just because the nose is so fine. But with these, being a wide nose, you almost can't pick up the ring in the wrong position. So it's actually a lot quicker to use these to do this particular job. And it's like most things, if you use the right tool for the right job, it's a lot easier and generally quicker. That one bent a little odd, but it'll go back together okay. That's what happens sometimes, or would happen even more with the chain nose. I just got hold of it in a slightly odd position, even for these pliers, but it works okay. So this is candy cane. It's a three colour candy cane. I use the same three colours throughout the length. With any chain, you can vary colours along the length. That is totally possible to do. It produces some very interesting and beautiful jewellery. In this particular case, I will maintain the same three colours throughout the length, and basically just interweaving them as necessary to produce what is a fairly complex looking chain, and one that uses quite a lot of rings. This will be as short as the one I've just finished, the half Persian, but it's got, what was this, about half as many rings again. Yeah, sorry, I've just noticed that on this camera you can see the other camera. I'll just bring that a little bit further forward so it's hidden from view. Right. So the ring weaving, chainmail, is a relatively easy craft. The skill comes in, well, a few things really. Speed, obviously. Getting the weave right is another one, and also a lot of the skill comes in closing the rings. Because if you don't close them, well, the first thing is they fall apart. But the second thing is, if you don't close them properly, you can feel the sharp edges of the rings, which of course, if you're wearing a bracelet, is annoying. It also, or a necklace for that matter, it also catches on clothing and things like that, and then can pull the rings apart. And indeed, actually, the rings can just catch on them themselves. But if you get as you practice, the skill of closing things, you can get to the point where the close is so smooth and so together that not only can you not see it with your naked eye, the join, you often can't even feel it, which proves interesting if you want to take the bracelet apart, as sometimes you do if you've made it a little bit long or you've got something wrong in, or, you know, one of the rings didn't quite weave properly. Then it can prove challenging, shall we say, to find the opening sometimes. And the other thing that if you can close it better, especially on the darker coloured rings, the way in which the rings are made means that they are anodized before they're actually cut into rings, and therefore the edges are silver, not coloured. Now on these pale colours you can't see it so much, but on some of the darker colours, like black fairly obviously, or dark green or dark blue, that sometimes can show, which you don't always want it to do. I mean, one of the nice things about even if it does is... Webster Jones 123, thank you very much for the follow, that's very kind of you. I was saying, if you do see the silver, then one of the nice things about it is it kind of looks just like a reflection. You know, as you might see, these rings as I'm holding up reflect light quite a lot, so if you just saw a flash of silver on there, I do. Driftwood Plays, that's a nice name, thank you very much. Then it just shows, you know, there is a flash of silver there. I don't know if you can just see that just by my thumb, but it just looks like a little reflection of the ring itself. Now sometimes if you do buy chainmail jewellery like this and you see that, it's not necessarily a defect. King Harrio, thank you very much for the follow. It's not a defect in it. I mean, one of the things that you have with any metal is the metal has a Allah is my bro, thank you also. The ring has like a memory, so if you twist it, then it will want to twist back. MLG, thank you also. And that's what happens sometimes when you're working with these rings, is you will actually close them properly, and then a little while later you'll find that it's just twisted back slightly and opened up. Now then, well, the other things about these rings is these particular rings are what they call saw cut. So when they make the rings, it's made from a coil of wire, and the wire can be cut in sort of 2 or 3 different ways. It's either cut with something resembling a small bolt cutter, and what happens with that is it actually pinches the wire, it squeezes it in like 2 V shapes coming together. That's called a, well, often gets called just a normal cut. You then get an edge cut or a side cut, which means that one side of the cut is vertical and the other side has a V. And then you get saw cut, which has vertical on both sides. The best one is the saw cut, because that means that one of the effects of pinching wire to cut it is it creates a sharp edge, because you bring it to a point, and they can be really sharp sometimes, and scratch, not, you know, the scratch former is not very pleasant. But with a saw cut, the edges are parallel to each other and vertical, and what that means is if you close the ring up, those two will actually butt right up against each other, and just virtually become invisible. Nearly. Okay, so I'm just doing is opening all of these, and then once they're open, the weave will progress a lot quicker than doing them one at a time. Okay, so about halfway through, 150 plus rings go together to make a 7-inch bracelet of this particular weave. So it takes several minutes to open them all. Right, so almost finished with these sky blue, and then we'll do the gold. Okay, almost finished with these. And now we'll do the gold. Now these are gold rather than yellow, which is what I was doing the other bracelet in if you were in the stream earlier on. So gold is a darker colour than yellow. Actually, it often gets people often underestimate the colour of gold. It's a dirtier colour than you might normally think. Marie, good evening. Welcome to the stream. I would say from a shop. If I was being that way out. There are various outlets depending on the country that you're in. From the US, for example, the famous, I guess, shop in the US if you want to look at them. And they do sell internationally as well. It's called the Ring Lord. But there are different suppliers in different countries, some of which resell Ring Lord rings, others make them themselves. or have them made themselves. Please use English in the chat, because if you don't, then you will find that you get banned. I don't tend to give warnings, so don't time people out, just ban them. So I suggest you take that on board. Yep. Well, that just shows people being impolite then, because since I'm speaking English, the expectation should be, if they wish to converse with me or anybody who is in the chat who presumably also would be listening in English, since I'm not doing any form of translation, then anybody who is using other languages on purpose. Some people will do it by accident or without or without knowing to start with. But if they do it on purpose, then they are being impolite and they're being rude, which is why I ban them, because there's no need to be rude. I doubt that's specifically the reason. They've probably just got bored and gone away, Nakamui. Right, 2 more and then we can actually start weaving rings. And there we go. Right. So back to my other pliers. So I will immediately start by, having opened all these, closing 4 of them, because the candy cane, well, I don't actually have to close them. I can do that as I'm weaving, but it's easier to close rings one at a time than it is to close them in a weave, which is why you sometimes see chain mailers closing a whole raft of rings before they actually start a weave, which actually has its own name as well. It's called speed weaving when you do that, but because you're doing it for speed, but generally speaking it's just easier. So candy cane starts with 6 rings in a simple chain, so I just put these 4 on here, and close that, and then I'll put another, so it's 2 in 2 in 2 to start with, like that. And I may actually need to get my reference picture out, but we shall see. So it starts with a simple 2-2-2 chain, and then these get folded down like that, and then if I remember rightly I pick up the corners. Is that correct? So I'm just looking at a chain I've already got, because it's a bit easier to look. Yeah, just pick up the corners with the blue. So let go. So that and that one there. What am I going to do with Christmas? Send it on its way. I'm on holiday over Christmas, so I probably what I should have done then. So let me just that folds back like that. That wants to be through that one. I will answer your question in a minute, Nakamura, and that one. And then I'm going to put a little piece of wire on the end of this. What I'm probably going to be doing, I'm not going to be like that, and then those two I want to just put, in fact I'll put that through all four like that. So what I was saying, Christmas, yeah. I've messed up somewhere in there. Let me just undo these blue rings and put them back on again. So this Christmas, I hope actually, is what I've been trying to say for the past few minutes, is I hope I'll be doing some more streaming, hopefully during the day, whilst I'm on holiday. I'm not doing anything specifically special for Christmas this year. I'm having, as you may have known if you've been in the stream before, I'm having a new studio made, and that's not a cheap prospect, so we're not going away for Christmas or anything like that. We're going to be at home. And so that's an ideal sort of chance to do some streaming and get some art done. It's also a chance for me just to have a rest. I like I generally like playing games as well at Christmas, so I'll just sit back with a nice drink, which may well be coffee, and yeah, play one or two computer games that I've been sort of meaning to get round to all year. Candy cane, like other weaves, takes a little bit just to get stable, but once it is, it will then fly. So that's gone through there, that's gone through that one. So then do that. And I pick up a gold wing. So are you doing anything in particular for Christmas, Nakamui? That one. No, not that one. I want this ring. You will go through that ring, and that ring. Which looks really weird, but we shall see how this goes. You know what? This is frustrating me now. So, you ring will go through there. That one. That one. Rings, you have about 10 seconds before I've had enough for today. Have I picked up the right rings there? Looks like I may have done. Okay. Right, so I then want pink again, which will then go through there and there. And we are starting to get stable on this weave. You will often hear me say that if you watch this stream, and you might be wondering what I mean by stable. Stable means that the weave holds its pattern. So if I were to drop this on the floor, I can pick it up and just carry on. It looks like it's meant to look. When you first start a weave in just about any chainmail technique, the first few rings that you put together will basically, if you were to drop it, fall apart. You hold them in a particular position to sort of interweave the rings, but if you let go, they just fall. It falls apart, and you can't actually. Sometimes you can't actually work out how they went. Now then. So that's what I mean by being stable. This one is almost there, which is one of the reasons why I'm sort of carrying on now. Normally I'd stop the stream around about 10 o'clock, but having just started weaving this, I want to weave it to a position of at least stability, and that way then I can work out when I carry on, if I stop, just where things should be. I think that's right. And then we go to gold. Like most chains in chainmail, it's symmetrical, so you kind of do the same thing to both sides. It's not a four-sided chain, but it kind of works like a four-sided chain in that you just pink whatever you do on one side you do on the opposite side. And this one takes a little bit more concentration to do than many others, just because of the I won't say it's complex. It is a sort of a complex weave, but you've got to get things in the right place, and you intertwining. Each ring is sort of being intertwined with about 4 or 5 others, actually 4 others, and you've kind of got to get the right positioning, otherwise you throw out the weave. Some of the others, like Byzantine, you're really just feeding a ring through 2 others, and it's a fairly simple pattern that I won't say you can do in your sleep, that's not true, but it is a fairly simple pattern that's easy to just keep following. You're doing the same thing on at each block of the chain. So blue, gold. This one just takes a little bit more thought, and it's a little bit more frustrating just trying to get, because the rings don't always want to cooperate, so they won't quite sit in the right position for you. They're more like cats in that respect than dogs. Okay, now this is now stable, the pattern is established, which on some chains where you have established a pattern, it becomes easy to see where the next one should go. I can sort of see that in this by looking carefully, but I want blue, not gold. But it's still easy to make a mistake, as I almost did then. Yep, that's through 2. This time it's gold through that one. pink. I'm confusing myself a little bit here. Normally I lay my colours out anti-clockwise, so I go around anti-clockwise for some reason. Don't know, it's just the way I do it. But tonight I've laid them out clockwise. So I keep trying to go for the wrong colour. And I know I could turn them around, but I just can't be bothered. So I've got about an inch of chain here. It may look like I've done it may look like it's going quite fast. In actual fact, it's one of the slower chains to do. I'm just checking gold, pink, blue. Checking I got the right sequence there, because there's 6 rings in a very, relatively speaking, small space. So things like Byzantine chains, for example, grow a lot faster than this one does. They also don't look as sort of solid and I mean, this particular weave certainly, it looks to be sort of a lot of wire interwoven with each other there, compared to some other weaves. Pink, blue, gold, pink. And because there's a lot of rings in a small space, it doesn't grow as fast as some other chains. Also means that to do a particular length, like 7 inches on here, it actually takes longer. A 7-inch bracelet I just finished earlier on the stream, which is a half Persian 3-in-1. Blue, gold, pink, blue, gold, pink, yeah. I don't know I'm doing this clockwise, but it still keeps throwing me off. Had 100 rings in it and took about an hour to weave. This one, for the same length, is 150 rings, and will probably be closer to at least an hour and a half to an hour and 3/4 to weave, and it's not quite proportional. It often is close to it, but so just because there's an extra sort of 50% rings doesn't mean it takes an extra 50% time. Sometimes it actually takes longer, and the reason being, instead of just simply sort of feeding a ring through another ring, I'm feeding it through a small space around 4 others, and that takes longer to do. So there is quite a lot of crafting goes into these handmade jewellery items, and as you can see, they're not done by machine, unless you consider me to be a machine, which I suppose technically I'm an organic machine, but I'm not a Terminator. So hopefully if you ever see these and decide you want one, it will explain to you, or you'll understand why they're usually a little bit more expensive than other jewellery. Talking of expensive, or not expensive as the case may be, I will just point out the shop, which is highlighted at the left hand corner just above the pictures that are cycling. Those are actually pictures of jewellery which has been made on stream and is available in the Etsy shop if you are interested in buying any. Clockwise, that's blue. Or just want to take a look, I encourage you to do so. I think there's some really pretty pieces in there with a range of prices. Everything in the Etsy shop is made to order, so it's made both to the length that you want and to the pattern. And if you want specific patterns or specific colours that aren't shown, then feel free to just ask. A lot of different patterns can be made. I mean, I'm using just the three colours here. I obviously could use 3 different colours, for example, as I have done for the Christmas candy cane. But it's also possible to do just blocks of colour. So, for example, instead of interweaving 3 different colours here, I could use all the same colour for an inch and then switch to another colour for an inch. And just keep changing like that. Okay, I'll just do a little bit more. I did start the stream late, so I will go on until about past, which is about another 5 minutes, and then we'll probably continue this again tomorrow. As you can see, when I was undoing the rings, I didn't need to keep picking up and putting down the pliers, and of course that takes time, which is why using the little ring tool make things go a little bit faster. Unfortunately, you can't use tools like that when you're closing rings. You do need to grasp them quite strongly. suppose I could sort of just hold the pliers in my hand like that, but can get quite fiddly sometimes. Sometimes rings sort of just get caught and you can be quite fiddly trying to get them out. Blue. Right, I'll just do this last, this pink, and another one for the other side of this section, and then I think that will be it for tonight. Okay, so there we go. So that's a length of candy cane. If you look at that, you can sort of see the swirl effect going around in the camera. It's a little bit, can't quite get, where's the focus? But if you sort of, you can see the colours sort of rotating around the body of the chain, which is the candy cane effect. I can see it with the pink ones there, but the blue do it as well as the gold. So that's it for tonight. We've got what there, about 2.5 inches of chain done, which isn't bad for candy cane in about 40 minutes. It only takes us say about an hour and a half to 2 hours to make a candy cane bracelet. But this one, well, most of them are really tactile, nice and fluid, and just great fun just to play with in a way. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I will remind people that's watching, anybody that's watching, about the jewellery shop. That's there, etsy.com/shop/arrogantart, or actually arrogantart.etsy.com will do as well. I must change that because it's easy to remember the other way around. So if you're not following me, I would be grateful if you would do so. Push the follow button. You will also then get notified by Twitch when I go live tomorrow, hopefully. If you also, or instead of, choose to follow me on Twitter, a tweet does go out when I go live, and for some jewellery related things usually. Another prolific tweeter. so you're not going to get inundated by following me. If on the other hand you just want to try and catch me tomorrow, I will be around, hopefully from about 8 PM UK time, 2000 hours GMT, or 2.5 hours ago. Thank you all, it's been fun. Hope to see you in the studio again tomorrow, and bye for now.